home from school. Oftentimes on the weekend, my friends would come and I would want nothing to do with them because all I wanted to do was just play my video games. I grew more attached to online gaming. I guess that constant change and that constant newness I found attractive. It had me. It was like a strong magnet. I couldn't really pull myself away from, you know?
Watch it. Watch your back. Watch your back. All right, that's good. I got him.
Gaming got in the way of school dramatically. I didn't know about addictions at all. So I just thought I really liked games. When high school hit, things just got a whole lot worse. I wanted to explore new friends. Yeah. Unfortunately, the friends that I chose to hang out with were not a good influence on me at all. These guys were different. It was the different that I was looking for. So breaking the rules, skipping class, smoking cigarettes, acting careless towards life. My behavior started to change at home, and it got to a point where it was very problematic for my parents. My room was a mess at all times. My self-worth was low. I was sleeping in all day, and I wouldn't get out of bed unless there was weed at my high school. Once drugs came into the picture, it took me right away. I grew closer to pot, which was the only thing I knew at the time. And my behaviors just got worse. I stole my sister's bank card at one point, and she called the police once she found out.
Come on, get up, let's go.
I was arrested first time when I was 15 years old. I broke down and I started crying for the first time in a while. My sister came storming out the front door. She was crying the hardest I ever seen her cry before. She wrapped her arms around me, the hardest I've ever felt. My sister still had it in her to say, I love you, brother, just get better. And that was the love my family always had for me. And I chose to push it away. No family member wants to put their brother or son into jail. And that was my problem. I just didn't listen. And I wish that I had listened because my issues in my life just got a whole lot worse. Everything just escalated from that point. My parents took me back in again with the problems still, my behaviors, stealing from my parents. They would have to hide their purses from me. I was losing friends, close friends, good friends, my family. I wanted to get high, and my parents were completely against drugs. I wanted them to just accept it. It's a herb, it's natural, it's not that bad. I just wanted to feel good, and I didn't want to deal with responsibilities, life on life's terms. Because I would use marijuana so often, I would be completely unmotivated to do nothing else. I left my parents with little choice but to kick me out. So I resided in the shelter system for the first time. One night, I had just been kicked out of the shelter. I went down to this one park. I had $10 on me. I wanted to buy a dime of weed. And I asked Buddy if he had any weed. He said, no, I don't, but I have this. And there was crack cocaine. Immediately after I that smoke and exhaled, I was hooked instantly. Instantly. As soon as I went up and I started to come down just the slightest, the first thought that came to my mind is I need more. I need to do this again. That's when the hustle began. Stealing to eat. I would spend all my money on drugs, whatever I'd hustle up. I was 120 pounds before I knew it. Completely mentally distraught. In and out of detox centers, in and out of hospitals, crisis centers. My parents would come looking for me, seeing me in the state that I was in. It broke their hearts. I was no longer their son and brother that they grew to know and to love. In the recovery, they say there's three outcomes with drug addiction: jails, institution, and death. And I had already experienced the first two, jails and institutions. So the next one was death for me. I was court ordered to go to Homewood. It was the first ever treatment center I completed. While I was up there, I learned to accept myself and who I am. I accepted that I am an addict. All this stuff made sense. When I started to care about myself enough to accept that I have addiction, surrender to this disease that beats me every time, that was the pivotal point for me. When I truly accepted help and was humble enough to admit, you know what? I lose every time I pick up drugs. I lose every time against this disease.
All right, let's get into this. It's important to know what addiction really means, especially once we come to recognize it in ourselves and in someone we know. Addiction is an uncontrollable craving or a strong physical and emotional pull towards something, someone, or some activity. You can literally be addicted to almost anything. Addiction makes you believe you actually need whatever you're addicted to feel normal or even comfortable. This happens because your brain is always searching for ways to increase pleasure and reward and decrease threat and pain. So where does this all happen in the brain? This is the pleasure center of your brain. This is the part of your brain that helps you with decision-making, planning, and inhibition. This is associated with emotion and the part of your brain responsible for keeping you out of danger. One of the ways these three areas transmit messages is by a chemical called dopamine. Every time you feel good about something and you get super excited, the dopamine circuitry in your brain really lights up with a big bang. And when the opposite happens, dopamine activity in your brain drops off. The problem with addictive substances and activities is they can get your brain to light up big time, leading to an increased activation of its pleasure centers, even though it's destroying your brain and body. Want to test this? Try disconnecting from the internet or the smartphone for 2 days. Another risk factor for addiction is simply being a teenager. You're more susceptible to becoming addicted and to the damage caused by various addictive substances. The good news is, I'm going to share with you 4 things you can do to develop a brain that can increase dopamine levels naturally. Invest your time and energy in bonding with people you love and trust, the people who truly want the best for you and your life. If you're struggling to cope with stressors and challenges, ask for help. Don't let depression and anxiety go on without any guidance. Discover tasks that you are motivated to do and set goals for accomplishing. Finally, and certainly not least, realize and understand your purpose, your values, attitudes. You have something incredible to offer this world. Don't let influences distract you from your true potential. With that in mind, let's keep growing. I'm Dr. K.